News Radio.
Just like in some cases, like I would say, depending on what stand-up comedian you're listening to, you also, your favorite stand-up comedian will definitely release their album on streaming. Their special as an album on streaming. Yeah. Depending on the comedian and how their style is, you probably shouldn't listen to it. You probably just
I
watch
wonder
it.
if he's humping the stool right now.
Yeah, the only person that does it is Joe Rogan.
Oh man, he is a stool humper.
He is a stool humper, and comedians hate that shit. Like veteran comics, there's so many like older veteran comics that have made comments about that. Like,
why?
Because it's just like one of those things where they consider it such an amateur move. You know what I mean? Where it's like one of those things where it's something
to be so physical.
Yeah, it's not even about being physical. It's just for some reason, like, taking humping the stool to an extreme. I forgot the name. I was watching this, because I'm on that side of fucking YouTube where the people are just like, Joe Rogan's a bad comedian.
See, what drives me nuts about that side of YouTube is it's a whole bunch of people who don't do anything themselves.
Agreed.
Who just want to talk shit about comics, and to the point where they get ads on their videos. It's like a hate pool. Yeah. And this is the thing you'll learn about the comedy community, or I think it's more so the comedy community than other places for some reason. Yeah. I can't figure out why. But Brendan Schaub is like Exhibit A. Just look at how much the internet turned on Brendan Schaub. Do you know anything about the hate train for Brendan Schaub?
Of course. I'm fully invested in the hate train.
I'm sure if you know about this side of YouTube, you know all about.
And I agree. Gringo Poppy. You guys, I know about Gringo Poppy. I know about The One. Wasn't that his first special? I think that's what it's called.
I actually don't even know about that.
Yeah, the Showtime one. Yeah, I'm fully on that side, and I understand. And I agree with you too, though. I agree. It is a bunch of people who don't actually do comedy trying to give their opinions, and that's the worst thing ever.
Mm-hmm. People who don't even. They haven't even been to a comedy show.
Yeah.
They haven't even talked to a comedian before.
And also, it's like one of those things where, like, just because you briefly did comedy and you may have bombed before does not automatically mean you should have a voice in comedy.
Yeah, there's a couple I could like call out right now. There's one, Too Lazy to Try, if you've seen that.
I've seen that guy.
That guy, he's always got the guy from Seinfeld on it, George from Seinfeld.
Have you ever heard of podcast cringe?
Yeah,
I like podcast cringe, but at the same time, as a comedian and a performer, I'm like, as a motherfucker who's never done comedy, your opinion should not be this strong.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, but like, you shouldn't be so passionate about pushing out all this hate.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because
it's like there's no silver lining. They're never like, oh, I like this. That's why it drives me nuts, because it seems so. Like, then there's a narrative. Like, now I know, oh, you have like a thing that you're pushing, and it's like the idea of everything sucks. Basically, everything sucks.
Yeah,
it's like this comedy nihilistic.
It's something you can never take away, and people try to make it like, and some of this side of like comedy like critiques try to make it seem like it's a bad thing that Joe Rogan moved to Austin and opened his own comedy club that is now super successful. Like, they make that seem like that's
Joe
a problem.
Rogan and all his comedy friends.
Yeah, and like
because they make it seem like a clique. That's the narrative from those guys. It's a clique, and if you're friends with Joe Rogan, then that's the only way you can be famous. Like, that's how, from those people's perspective. If you were to be the hater, this is obviously what you would say. You'd say Joe Rogan is like the gatekeeper of the comedy world, and him moving to Austin. Obviously, there's truth to some of these things.
It's true, but
if you're Joe Rogan, what are you supposed to do?
Exactly, and that's the thing where it's like, who cares if you don't like his Netflix special? You can't take anything away from the fact that he got a Netflix special.
Of course, and that's just like the lesson of life.
Yes, exactly.
You should not be a hater in general. Just stop being a hater.
Yeah, just stop fucking hating. You know,
because that's why those channels drive me nuts. They're only hating. Like, if you were to just say, like, have 5 minutes where you're just nice, and then I'm like, oh wait, maybe
yeah, like maybe I would be genuinely surprised to see that, but you don't,
And it's always like, this was the worst episode of Joe Rogan.
And I mean, they can critique the podcast all they want, but
I just watched the one about Guy Fieri. I just saw they made a video about his episode with Guy Fieri, because I didn't watch the episode, but I did watch the videos. Just like, I was thinking maybe it'll be like a little recap, but basically it was just talking about how like Joe Rogan like steamrolled over Guy Fieri and like made Guy Fieri feel awkward. And like, when you watch the episode, most of it's not quite like that. I mean, maybe a little bit. This is the thing, is like, people develop opinions about if you're Joe Rogan and you're talking with someone for an hour, you're not thinking about what the internet's going to say. And then the internet's going to say a million things about it. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Say somebody's a little bit awkward. Say someone comes in here, I invite them over, and they're just a little bit awkward. Like, they, you know, and maybe they just have something going on that day. Maybe there's a million reasons someone might act awkward.
Yeah, for sure.
But the internet then, like, takes that and turns that into, like, wow, this person, like, must have hated him or blah, blah, blah. And that's exactly how that stuff goes.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just too much attention on something that is not important.
Not important at all. You know what I mean?
It's a conversation between two people. We don't need to, like, hate analyze this and talk about how shitty they both are.
Now,
it's not worth it.
I think I don't completely agree with that. Like, I think when I mean,
there's bad ones.
There's a lot of bad ones, but like when you know, when Joe Rogan is platforming people who are openly spreading misinformation.
Yeah.
You know, when he, you know,
who are your like top 5 worst Rogan guests? Do you have some?
I don't even have a top 5. Anytime Elon Musk has come on.
Oh, you don't like those ones?
No, because it was funny the first time he came on.
The first one was funny.
Where he has
I saw it live. That was back when it was live on YouTube. I remember walking around my mom's house seeing Elon Musk light up or hit that joint going, like I knew it was going to be.
Yeah, but like, so like,
anyway,
I was one of those people where I got into the Joe Rogan podcast super late. Like,
oh, really?
And like I got into the podcast
late,
when he,
meaning
like 2021 or something like that.
Okay.
Like when he was still interviewing back before he was just openly conservative, right wing, like talking mouthpiece.
Yeah.
Back before then, when he was mostly just interviewing comedians. Still, you know, I used to watch a lot of the comedian interviews. Like some of.
When
like,
did he have Bernie on?
He had Bernie on like I think in like 2020 or something like that. Like
because that was the very beginning of politicians going on podcasts. That was the first one.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
Bernie.
so I don't really. You know, I don't really have ones that I hate because it's just like so off of my radar now. Because at this point, aside from the comedy aspect of Joe Rogan, like I know I've heard that he's starting to like shift his views a little bit.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's just like a wealthy conservative white man just like spouting misinformation, I just can't fuck with anything he does. I'll still listen sometimes. Like if I see he interviews like a comedian that I like I know like last year he had Ali Sadiq back on his podcast.
Oh, okay.
Ali Sadiq is one of my favorite comedians ever.
Yeah.
So like I like to see him talk, even if it's not comedy. You know, I like to see him talk. So I will watch that stuff. But like anything else, I'm like super far removed. Like the episode with him and Donald Trump was terrible because it was like him just like you know like glazing Donald Trump the whole fucking interview.
Well, see, this is the thing. This is how I feel about like it's kind of a weird thing because he's not really a politics person, and so
he is a politics person, bro.
No, but I mean like what he's always done. It'd be like if I were to have a politician in here right now, I would probably try to talk to them the same way I'm talking to you, just because I would want to have the same effect on them to get that same personality. Like at a certain point, you do get someone to be themselves if you just open up enough yourself. And I think like the problem is he doesn't agree with everything this guy is saying, but you can't be too confrontational if you want someone to actually reveal things. It's kind of like you're playing a game of chess.
I don't think he's that.
You don't think that's what's happening?
I don't think he's that calculated. Honestly, like they've shown several instances of like. You know, Joe Rogan just not understanding basic comedy. Like people try to joke with him, and he's just like, "What?"
Again, that's like one of the comedy hate circles.
It is,
but no, I know, but that's like that's one of like the pinnacle. That's probably like one of the if they had a Bible,
that would be the first commandment. Joe Rogan does not understand comedy.
Doesn't get comedy at all. They think he's the worst comedian, and he doesn't understand comedy.
But that is true to an extent.
Yeah, haters.
Don't be a hater, but like you know what I mean. Don't like overly do it, but it is true to an extent. You know what I mean?
Because a lot of the jokes do, but again, I think it's a tough thing because I can sort of see from his side if he's trying to do a podcast, and this is probably just him talking to people. It's probably like because I've observed I'm not really a comedian. I mean, I talk to comics all the time, but I'm not a comedian.
Yeah.
But I've sort of absorbed it. But I'm not them, right?
Yeah.
Like, I've caught myself. I'm like, oh, I'm trying to think of jokes about this dead person right now. I've talked to too many comics.
Yeah, you've been around too many comedians. Oh yeah.
But I was gonna say like what he's trying to do, like the aim of his show is always to have a long conversation where we get at something. And so if someone's like throwing in zingers, he does miss jokes sometimes. But say if I'm like saying something to you and then you say a joke back. I almost have to kind of like ignore your joke to keep going where I'm trying to go.
No, for sure.
And I think that's something he does that the internet then interprets as Joe Rogan doesn't get any jokes.
Yeah.
But really, he's just trying to stay focused. That's my theory on that. but I could be 100% wrong. Because if you watch Protect Our Parks, like the recent ones with that.
I've never seen it.
Oh, I mean, honestly,
I know what it is, but
if you
I've
were
never
to go
seen it.
back to Rogan, that's not a bad way to go back just because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Especially if you watch the right, like he's not drinking right now, so the last one they did was not so off the rails. But like they've done whippets on Protect Our Parks. They've done some crazy
That's
things.
just wild, man. Like, it's crazy, like how you know, like how deep the podcast space has gotten.
Been too long, I don't think I could face it. In the corner with my mask on. What's the story? It did do no good to wait.